This
All right, welcome to
conference
the
will
future of
now
real
be
estate.
recorded.
Hey, friends, welcome to the future of real estate. And uh, I'm Darryl Baskin and joined by the thing,
Hey,
Kirsten. I'm standing here uh, at Double Shot, my favorite coffee place, and I've walked away, like I'm out of the screen talking to a friend over here. Kirsten joins on the link, and what do I say to my friend? Like all this chaos going on. I say, "Oh, hey, the my thing just beeps on my computer, and Kirsten's telling me I'm not a thing." Okay, well, Kirsten, uh, here we go. You ready? You know what the topic is today?
no, surprise me
Well, I was going to talk about staging, but I get really bored with the same old stuff. How many articles can you find about staging?
about
And
probably a million.
yeah, and they're all kind of the same thing. I'd like to dig deeper into what those things are, and we'll do that here in the future. But this morning I was having a conversation about one of our dear clients, and it really got me fired up about, and I get passionate about what is our real role as a real estate professional. And I don't think the
Hmm.
public sees this. The public sees um, Facebook posts and I want my property on these social media things. And that's not even what sells houses. Because everybody comments, oh, it's so beautiful, and your friends tell you whatever you want to hear. They're not writing the check. But what's happening down on a much more fundamental level is what are the psychological and financial things taking place in the process of buying and selling homes. And what came up was one of, and you know the story, one of our uh, dearest clients, who has been a client of mine for many years and a friend, um, is in a situation where they are making a choice to purchase. Should I rent? Should I lease? They purchased a home and that fell through because the inspections weren't really what they wanted. And through the process, it was talking through these highs and lows of no, I'm just going to rent. I'm really overwhelmed. I want to rent. And the the in this specific instance, the advice that we talked about was getting your money, because there's a lump sum of money, getting your money invested in a home so it doesn't vaporize. For some of us, there's this conversation that some high level financial advisors might say you can make better progress with your money, a better investment if it's not invested in a home. It, right? Did you follow what I just said?
Yeah, so you can make so there's a school of thought out there that is you can get a higher return on investment from putting your money elsewhere from homes. But what do we know about historical data?
Well, and what you're saying, Warren Buffett is one, and several other big financial names would say, yeah, you can get better returns somewhere, and that's true. I as a realtor, I won't always say that real estate is where you make the most money. The issue is we have to pay for a place to live, and for most of us, the better investment is to own what we have or have larger amounts of equity in what we have, not because you're going to get rich off of one real estate investment. Because
So
an investor might look,
can
go
I
ahead.
add something here? Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt.
yeah.
Um,
No, please.
in this particular situation, right, we talked about vaporizing money, right? So
Hmm.
she's selling a home, and the goal is to make sure that we reinvest that money, you know, so it doesn't disappear, but also there are tax benefits to doing that, right? So at a certain income level, you're going to, not have to pay a capital gains tax. So there are, multiple benefits of,
Multiple layers.
yeah, of reinvesting those profits.
Well, and what happens to many of us if you end up with 30, 50, 100, or however many thousands of dollars in an account? It's like, oh, I've got plenty, I can use this. And so it disappears 500 at a time, 1,000 at a time. uh, it's easy for that money to be reallocated to something else. That's not necessarily wasteful. It's just life tends to have its needs. And the security for this person was to have this money put into a home which provides um, shelter and security for the family in these coming 5, 10, 20 years. So even if this property were sold, if it never improved in value, if it were sold at the exact same price, through that period of time, the equity remains the same, barring some financial calamity. Inflation is going to take care of maintaining the property value. Simple maintenance of the home, and now this person is locked in, is not um, having to deal with changing rental rates, or possibly the building being sold wherever the landlord may change their reallocation of something, and people right now are losing their their homes just because the landlord is deciding to go a different direction. So it just provides stability. Now, I
Well,
want to back that up,
can we talk about one quick thing before you jump into that
please.
next thought? So, one of the strategies, you mentioned an inspection with this, and it just so happens that one of the strategies with this particular buyer is that they're gonna buy a home that has a maximum opportunity for return on investment, in that they're going to do quite a bit of work on it, right? So they're going to buy that home at a lower price point and then start to fix it up.
Because it's a handy person, and not so much as in complete renovation, but I can go in. This is their thought process. I can go in. I can clean this up. It doesn't have to be pristine and perfect. I can recaulk the bathtub. I can clean the windows. Those things that, from a staging standpoint, as a home seller, I'd get all this stuff done so you can get maximum
I
price.
can rip the
But
carpet out and put new carpet in, which is not
right,
expensive.
or hand finish the hardwood floors underneath,
Right.
because
Right.
that's an option with a couple of the homes that we've looked at. But that takes vision. And here's where I build all of this up. It's easy to have this conversation with one person. We have another client right now who is an elderly client, and the conversation is extremely different. It's pay a premium. This is us talking to them. Pay a premium, get everything fixed. You are in the years of your life where you don't need to mess with any of this stuff. Now, if this doesn't resonate with you as a client, then of course we will redirect some of that advice. But our job as a realtor, and this is so critical, it's not to be focused. And I'm saying this so that you as a consumer, if you're watching this, you as a consumer know what questions to ask, know how to evaluate what you're getting. Don't listen for the things that you want to hear. Listen for the truth of what is being told to you. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but it's the truth, and this down inside. You can
So
tell.
let's talk about that for a
It's
second.
getting you in the right direction.
There's a there's a book, the hard things about hard things. And
Oh yeah.
as a professional, and I don't want to use the word sales because really we're trusted advisors, but as professionals, it's our job on the front end when we're having that listing appointment or we're having that buyer appointment to truly understand their needs and their thresholds, right? Because once you understand that, then we can provide and leverage all the decades of experience that we have to provide sound business data driven, insights and suggestions and recommendations that we're not only looking at long term, but right now and then long term. And that's not something that a salesperson does, right? That's an experienced, trusted advisor who genuinely cares about their clients.
So let me reframe that in a way. The real estate professional you're looking for that may be best for you is the one that's not chasing after your business. Truthfully, think of this. Think of the agent who is rushing out, can't wait to get a sign in the yard, um, doing everything they can to get you to sign documents so that they can put something up that's just going to drive business for them. Versus someone who says, "Let's sit down, let's talk about what are your needs, what are you even looking for, what kind of strategy do we need in place. Let's wait, let's do it in this specific order so that when we hit the market, things are right, so that the order is defined so that it's less stress for you, so that you're making better financial decisions, so that we're maximizing the value of the house." And I see this happen regularly where the excitement of the consumer is, oh, I need to get it on the market. I need to do all these things. I'm going to look for the most aggressive. And they mistake sales and the aggressiveness for being in their best interest because it's just doing something right away. Not that there's something wrong with getting a house on the market right away, but look for the person who is the agent who is very methodical and thoughtful about the advice they're giving you, and giving you time and space to be able to make the decisions that are right for you, and the logic that backs up that emotion. And
Right.
I'll say that again, the
Yeah.
logic that is backing up the
Right.
emotion. And we're not talking about confirmation bias here. I'm talking about being aware of confirmation bias and how it may drive your decisions, because that is a process of thinking through each step to see. And these can be challenging questions that may say, why? This is me talking as a realtor. Why do you believe this? Why do you want this? Not because I'm disagreeing with you, but because I want you to be thoughtful about the decision you're making. Because
Well,
it's
can I
not,
stop here for a second?
yep.
So when we think about root cause analysis, right, it's called the five whys. And so
Mhm.
by the time you get to the fifth why, so why in that questioning strategy, you actually get down to really what the real reason is, right? Because one of the things that we're talking about is it actually takes time to build rapport
Mhm.
with your clients and build trust. And asking these questions and making sure that we're covering that actually builds trust with that client.
So if you, I'm going to pull back and say, why am I even making this a conversation point today? Because if you look online, if you go to Zillow or any of these other places, the um, conversation right now, and for many years, has been about the big C word, commission. How am I going to save an extra 0.5%? How am I going to save money on the commission? It is so important that you understand the role of commission and why it's not necessarily about saving a percent, about the focus being on commission. It is what kind of advice are you getting and what type of strategy, expertise, and management to get to the closing table that really makes the investment in real estate part of your financial life, financial journey. And that is, the commission is one piece of a bigger picture. It's why you'll pay a CPA more money, get a good CPA, pay them more money, and your financial picture as a whole improves because you have the right professional. Same with an attorney. It's not how little you're paying the attorney. It's whether or not you win the case. So
Yeah.
the overall picture has to be, that's one piece in the overall picture. And I know
So
we could go so many directions
yeah,
with this,
I want to
but
just interrupt you again.
yeah,
It seems like I'm doing that a lot.
I like it. I need to be interrupted.
Um, is let's talk about, so we've talked about this strategy and being methodical and taking your time. Well, right now we have the luxury a little bit of doing that,
Mhm.
depending on what price point you are in the market. But after November 5th, things
It
may be
might be
different,
picture.
right? So one of the things that you have to think about, even in this market, is that yes, I need to make a very methodical, data driven decision, but I also need to be very shrewd and look at my opportunities because it may disappear really quickly. And so that's
Right.
something we're also counseling our clients in that if we find that home, we need to jump.
An example: every election cycle, major elections for every 4 years with the presidential election, the one of the best times to purchase is that lull right before the election.
Yeah.
Let everybody else get scared. Um, the terms can be exceptional because no matter what happens after the election, we still have to have a place to live. We're still continuing with life, and that may change the decision of some people, but for most of us, we're going to buy a house one way or the other. They've got to have a place to live. So if that's you, make the decision while everyone else is drawn back and afraid. Even if that's coming down to an evaluation by a home seller of, I can wait a month or two and see what happens, or I can just go ahead and take this deal that's in front of me right now from the buyer who's willing to buy And it's like an insurance policy. Many home sellers look at, I just want to get this out of the way. I want to be done with it. I don't want to go into Christmas hanging on to this house. And that's the time for you as a home buyer to be making that decision and writing that offer. So um, this all goes into the strategy. And nothing we're saying here is a one size fits all. That's the importance of expertise in your realtor, not just somebody who's had their license a long time, not just someone who's even sold a bunch of houses, because you can churn a bunch of houses and have a bunch of sales on your record, but really not have the expertise or the insight to be able to help people make the decisions that are necessary as they're customized to their certain life circumstances. So even just being top producer
So
is
can we
not what you're
just
looking for.
here? So also the other thing we talked about is we made a contrast, right? So you've got agents that are focused on Zillow and they're focused on leads, right?
Mhm.
When you look at identifying who you want to work with, right? You actually want to work with a referral based agent. And so that's a person
Absolutely.
who's getting their business from repeat referrals. And so when we look
Oh,
at your database, right? It's
that's an important thing.
that's what
I
your
get
whole business is referral based business.
three calls this year, pardon me, this week from major players. Hey, uh, call us or come to our little webinar. And these are like personal calls. We want you to buy our leads. And I'm like, that's disgusting to me. I don't want to buy your leads. I want people to be driven to the fact that I'm providing great service. I've helped out a member of their family or a friend by sometimes telling them this is not the right time to buy or sell,
That's
in my
right.
opinion. Certainly, I'll
Well,
do the
how about
transaction
the
for you.
example on that house that we just talked about, right, at the beginning of this conversation? That may or may not have been the right house, but that inspection, you know, was really, really tough and a little bit overwhelming for that person.
Right.
And so that wasn't necessarily the right house because it was causing so much
It's
emotional angst.
right, exactly. And we'll go through a process of asking if, for example, here, this would be a good question. When it becomes overwhelming, if this roof were replaced, if you had a brand new roof on this house, would you want to buy this house? If
Mhm.
the carpet were removed and the hardwood floors were refinished, would you want to buy this house? And we take just a moment to visualize and see, where does this put you? Because certain obstacles with proper negotiation can resolve those issues, and that keeps it from being a mental block. Think about it. How some people, and I watch this even with my own home that I was selling. Um, I watch people let a very minor thing become this huge mountain of a problem. And then they'll go buy something that is substandard or less, all because they've had a coat of paint on it. Really, don't make a short-sighted, poor decision when there's a longer plan or vision ahead that saves you money in the long run. It makes a cost of ownership less. These are all things that you have to take into consideration. Um, and you don't get that from a year or two of selling real estate. This comes from years of
In the trenches.
multifaceted real estate experience. And by the way, when I say this, obviously, the underlying thing is I sell real estate. I'm looking for good clients all the time, but I am not the only good realtor. I want you to take this information. Maybe you're outside of our market. Maybe I can't even help you, but I can connect you to people who can. I know what questions to ask so you can be an informed consumer. And when you do, the right realtor is going to stand out for you. So I'll close this with this because we can go on forever. And I appreciate the people who make this possible for us. My partners, Goodman Roofing, Integrity Title, First United Bank Mortgage, and these people are supporting our mission of educating the consumer, making this information available, and they're an extended part of our team because they're the ones that are bringing that service that we need, that make it a smooth process to sell and buy. So thank you for supporting the future of real estate. And I'm Darryl Baskin. You'll find the link below, baskinrealestatespecialist.com. And Kirsten, as always, you are a tremendous value to what we do here. So I appreciate you.